delivery? Well, let's interpret low voltage and high long-term fuel trim numbers. The low voltage is saying, I'm not getting enough fuel. Do we agree with that? And the computer says, shut up, you little moron, I sent it. Check's in the mail. Who's wrong? Who's wrong? Delivery. You got the wrong scan tool in your hand. You got the wrong tool, period, in your hand. You need a pressure gauge and a mason jar or a current probe, however you're going to do it. I'm with it on all ways. All right, because delivery is bad. Same thing's the opposite. Yo, dude, I'm getting a lot of too much fuel down here, and long term is low in the minus numbers. Don't look at me, I'm not sending it. Now you got too much fuel pressure, leaky injectors. We got a GM43. Right? You know, I can see GM doing that. You know, this damn electronic fuel injection really works good. Really, you know what? Let's make poppet valves. Where the hell did that come from? You know, let's do it that way. So yeah, but now I'm not getting enough fuel. I'm not getting enough fuel, and you look over at long term, and it's going into minus numbers, and it says I'm not getting enough. And he goes, I know, I didn't send it. Don't even look for it. I'm not sending it. Now you have the right tool in your hand. You have the right scan tool in your hand. Now you're going to look at the computer control and not the mechanical. It's a I was going to say dangerous, but there's nothing dangerous about the test. It's a test that can bite you. It's a test that can bite you because I'm really anti-clearing fuel trims and codes early. I'm anti that, but there's every once in a while and we'll talk about it several different times here. 9 codes and 87% load at idle. I don't believe nothing. You're a liar, liar, pants on fire. I'm going to slap you, knock you out, and when you wake up, we'll start over again. I'm going to clear this stuff. So there's a time that I want to clear it. Probably not the most technical exact thing we should be doing here. So here's a 2000, these are 2 cars. These are 2 cars. I didn't even do either one of these cars, but when I was stealing the information, when I was looking at the information from the other guy in the bay next to me, he had 2 Tauruses on the same day with 2 different problems. Can you believe that? You know, he had a 171 and it was a mill on and it was a bad fuel pump pumping air. And, you know, we had a fuel pump aerating the fuel. Can you imagine a Ford ever doing that? Ford is, buy a Ford, buy the best. Ride 1 mile, walk the rest. You know, do you check for aeration? Do you look in the hose? Do you open the petcock on your pressure and discharge the fuel into an OSHA-approved container?
Mason jar.
You know, it's being recorded. I don't want the EPA come and arrest me and sentence me to wear J.C. Penney shoes for a month. So, yeah, and we see bubbles. When do you see bubbles in a Ford return line? Always. Always. I don't know if you do enough of them, but you always, it seems like there's always bubbles in the fuel there. You look at a GM and you see a bubble once in a while or so. Chrysler the same way. I know you work on imports, so I don't. So when you see aeration in a Ford, from the Ford fuel pump, it's way beyond bubbles. It's what? Foam. Absolutely. It's way beyond foam. So boom, you're going to replace a fuel pump. Yeah, they matched, you know. And the other one that caught my eye was the PCM was not commanding, it's same mill, same code. PCM wasn't commanding the correct injector pulse width. Does that sound like even possible? Sure, why? Huh? Whole bunch of reasons. Can you give me one?
Vacuum leak.
There you go, vacuum leak. Anybody agree with him? Me neither. Correct. The PCM not commanding the correct injector pulse width, just because I got a vacuum leak doesn't keep the computer logic away. I agree the injector pulse width would be higher than normal, wider than normal, increased above what it would be normal, but that wouldn't make it wrong. That would make it what? Right. Right for the condition of a vacuum leak, right? See, you agree with me. So he replaced the oxygen sensors because it was commanding a wrong. And I didn't know this guy from Adam, and he wasn't very friendly, and he never bought me lunch. So whatever. I didn't know this guy that good. But and he must have been good because they brought him all the way from Kansas. Whatever, right? So he decided the PCM was not commanding the correct injector pulse width, in his words, on his worksheet, and he replaced a dead and a slow oxygen sensor. Can we identify dead oxygen sensors easily? Yeah, they don't move, they hang. Well, how do you diagnose slow ones? Cross counts. Cross counts are a binary digital counter. Cross counts are a binary digital counter. If you had, I'll do this one because the math is easy. If you had cross counts in the scan data, diagnostic test mode 1, and you had an 8-bit computer. Now, I know 8-bit computers are old, but I got to do the math in my head. My wife claims I'm a Rain Man without the math skills. Eight and 8 is what? 16, 32, 64, 128, 255, right? So if you had an 8-bit controller, the highest cross count number, highest number in any PID you would see is 256. I know I said 255, then I said 256, but computers start counting at 0. 0 is a digit. So it goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 255, 256. Cross counts is a digital binary counter. It starts at 0. If you could look at the raw data of cross counts, it would count 1. Well, no, it would count 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 256, boom. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So when you see cross counts on a diagnostic test mode 1 scan data, you don't know where they are in the stair. You have no basis to say, if you look down and you see 100, 1,000, 1, 6, 9, you have no basis to establish what's at 9 of. Is it 9 from the beginning, 9 from 10, which makes it 1, right? 9, right? So, I mean, cross counts aren't what we think they are. They're digital binary counters. If you have a diagnostic test procedure that you use cross count, it works for you, good. Keep using it. If it's ever screwed you up, stop using it. Right, Rich? All right? So they didn't match. You know, they did not match. He had a lean condition. It was a dead and a slow oxygen sensor. So he's claiming they did not match. He had to replace both oxygen sensors. You know, how can oxygen sensors cause the injector pulse width to be wrong? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to wake you up. Anybody?
It's the feedback the computer's using to confirm its original, all the data that it's got to create the mixture, you know, create the pulse width that's correct to start with. It looks basically at the sensors, it looks at the lookup table, says this is what my pulse width is, then it uses the oxy sensor signal to say, was that right? Am I too rich, am I too lean?
What he said. What he said. What he said. He could have stopped on the first word. Bernie Jr. over there. Ken's coming next month, but Bernie's a month after, so you tell him how I picked on him. Right? Feedback. Feedback. Computer goes, hell, dude, squirt spark. Then he says, how'd I do with oxygen sensor? You're a little bit lean. Well, bigger squirt? Going to change the spark? How'd I do? Still a little lean. Bigger squirt, more spark. Anything that affects fuel affects timing, period. Can't change them. That's a physical thing. And so then the oxygen says, you missed it again, but you went too rich, right? Isn't that the way it works? So we know that they're man and wife, and the oxygen sensor is the wife because the computer can never please it. And that's the way fuel control works. That's the way fuel control works. Now that's in one small feedback part of the formula. That is a modifier. And that's what the word I was looking for. It gives us feedback so it can modify the injector pulse width. That's what I was looking for. And that's, he said it. Just he's from Mars or somewhere. Good fuel control is when? How do we know we got good fuel control? All right, but good fuel control is when long-term and short-term are normal. And we established normal as my normal is plus or minus 5. I think yours was plus or minus 10. Nobody agreed over 10. So I think we're in some type of agreement here. Mark that down. May never happen again. But it's not when the oxygen sensors are within normal working parameters. And thank you for nobody saying the oxygen sensors are working normally. That doesn't mean we're in good fuel control, all right? So when does the fuel control, so you're driving along a car, and this car is absolutely perfect. Okay, so that's not a Ford or a GM or a Chrysler. I don't know what that is. This is a smart car. So you're driving along. Can I tell them the story? Last time I was coming here, I was coming to New Jersey. That's kind of stupid. Last time I was coming here, I was going to New Jersey. I am in New Jersey. But I was going to where Rutgers is, Brunswick. So I'm going down there, and I'm coming somewhere, and I'm always the second fastest guy on a you know, I'm going to let somebody run in front of me, and when my fuzzbuster goes off, I'm going to act innocent. So we're going like hell. We're doing 85 miles an hour, and I'm not exaggerating. I'm not lying. This is an honest God's truth. A smart car passed us. It has no technical value, but it was just so shocking to find that out. So when does a long-term stop correcting? When does short-term stop correct? The system stops correcting when the oxygen sensor returns to normal. Good fuel control is dependent upon good working oxygen sensors. There's 3 methods to test oxygen sensors. Probably the best is diagnostic test mode 6, whether you agree or not. And then the second would be a digital storage scope, because we all got real quiet when I said, how do you check the speed of an oxygen sensor? So the only way you're going to do that is with one of these. The only way. You can't do it with a scan tool. And then the third is probably a scan tool. You know, the other is to touch it if it's really hot. So all the oxygen sensors are going to be tested. I'm in the domestic world. You know that by now. You came here knowing I don't do foreign cars. So we're going to look at this waveform here. And we can do that with a lab scope. We can do it with a scan tool. Trust me, the computer can do it a lot better. If we do it with a scan tool, this is an AE Auto Ingenuity scan tool. And is that a good signal or a bad signal? If you have an Auto Ingenuity, you might be able to offer an opinion. If you don't have an Auto Ingenuity, then you should not offer opinion whether that's good or bad. Because scan data is buffered, dampened, written to screen, right? So it's all, anybody you got a Genesis? Anybody got a Genesis? Anybody got a Genesis? Give me a Genesis, give me one Genesis. You ever look at oxygen sensor? You ever graphed oxygen sensor voltage on a Genesis? Did you ever do it twice? No, it sucks, right? Pretty much sucks. Who's got a Modus? Give me a Modus. We got a Modus over here? Same thing? Yeah. Just sucks. The scan tool is not grafting not giving me a usable, diagnosable graft. All right? This is a good working oxygen sensor on a normal car. And when you look at it, you know, if this was a lab scope, I go, oh man, this is good. A little funky. This is good. Oh, that's bad. This is good. Oh, that's not so good. Oh, that's horrible. So you can't use a scan tool like you use a DSO. But I happen to have been using AE for a long, long time. I was using it when it was an AC. That was an alphabet joke. C comes before E. Nah, it doesn't go